Today, I want to talk about race. Now, I know we talk about race all the time here, but I want to talk about a different race, the 4x100 meter relay. Because it's on an oval track, the starts are staggered. If the starts weren't staggered, then the person who had the inside track or the inside lane, for in fact, that's where the phrase the inside track comes from, would actually get a head start. At the beginning, it looks like you're giving an advantage to the person on the outside. But what you're doing is making the race fair. The person who starts the race is usually someone who can kick things off, a founding father of your team, if you will. And then they run that first leg of the race and they hand it off to the second person. But by the end of the race, the last leg of the race is just a straight shot. So the fastest person on the team usually is on that last leg. As long as they can get the baton from the person who handed it to them, they benefit from all the work that the people before them did. But imagine if the starts weren't staggered. Now, it would seem fair at the start, but in reality, the person on the outside had to run further. And the person on the inside track, they have an advantage. So imagine in this race with a non-staggered start, by the time they get to the last leg of the race, the person who handed you the baton would tell you, hey, this race ain't fair. You have to know this race ain't fair. You have to run twice as hard to get as far as the person who had the inside track. And you run like the devil. You hand your baton off and you tell that person, hey, we got to run twice as hard. And they run really hard. And then they get to the final leg and they hand that baton off. And that person knows that they got to run twice as hard. And they sprint toward the finish line and there's a photo finish. Now, the person who came in first is the person with the inside track. And they say, yeah, I reached the finish line first, so I won this race. But you know the truth. You know they ain't as fast as you. You know they didn't run as far as you did. And so you go to the judges and they say, why are you playing the victim? And why are you complaining about the person who ran the first leg anyway? Like that was 4 legs ago. Maybe the person in the second leg and the person in the third leg, if they would have focused on hard work, you would have won. But you know the truth. So this country is 249 and some change years old. And the first leg of this non-staggered start race was slavery. And the second leg was slavery too, right? And then came Jim Crow, Reconstruction. Let's be kind and say that the Civil Rights Act of 1965, which is essentially the last leg of this race. Let's say that's the race we're running. But everybody before us had to run twice as far and twice as hard in a race with a non-staggered start. How do you fix it? Do you start by teaching everybody the history of races? Do you protest? Or do you keep racing? Do you keep telling people to run twice as hard? What if the people on your team finally convince everybody just through math and science or learning history to start staggering the starts? And all the school track teams have staggered starts, and even like workplace tracks have staggered starts. They have staggered starts in college. Some corporations put staggered starts in their workplace. And now that everybody knows the only way to make a race fair is to have a staggered start, the people with the inside track come together and decide to put one of their own in charge of races, to make them the president of the United Races of America. Not only does he pledge to eliminate the staggered start, he makes teaching about staggered starts illegal. He makes it illegal to have a fair race. Now, here's the question you have to ask yourself. Are the people who support them dumb people who are used to having the inside track and don't know the truth? Or are they losers who know they can't compete?
You are listening to Contraband.